Welcome to the Sleeping Barber podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of our Barber's Brief. And if you are a new listener, Mark and I like to use this forum to discuss things that have caught our attention over the last couple of weeks. We like to highlight our marketing moment and, of course, discuss our ad of the week. Mark, good morning. How you feeling, buddy?
Good morning, V. Fresh off. Oh, I should say, how are you feeling? That's probably more important. Having survived another Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
I'm exhausted. I'm not going to lie. It was a difficult but very rewarding effort that I think the team really put in. So really, really happy with the outcome. And thanks for asking. Yeah, it was good. Really good.
Awesome. Yeah. And I am good also. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I went skiing yesterday, on the weekend anyway, which is great. I wasn't
Can I
quite
share
sure
a
how my
story?
body was going to manage, but it worked. Yeah.
I'm going to share a story. I don't know if you've seen these before, but Black Friday, I purchased a pair of Stoko tights. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah.
So I bought them because I want to get back to skiing this year.
Oh,
I
there
really
you go.
hope that these things work because I want to get out there.
Yeah. They're the
It's a
ones
lot.
like lock in kind of thing.
They're supposed to lock in, and they're basically for those that have had ACL tears and stuff like that. They really kind of help compress around the knee, restrict mobility, and things like that. So maybe I'll see you on the slopes.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Oh, boy.
That'd be
I-
yes, for sure. Come, that'd be great. But how did you buy it? I'm so curious now.
Well,
Not like
I
credit
clicked
card or something.
add to cart. No.
Yeah. But I mean, the shopping experience. What did you use?
I think I've been inundated with their ads for the last 2-3 years. They're on their Gen 2 of their product line.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, they're expensive, right? So I think like regular price, they're nearly $500.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they're not cheap. But there's like it's really fascinating technology. And they had a Black Friday deal. I'm like, you know what? I keep thinking about why I'm not skiing and why I'm not doing some of these other sports. And if this is the cost of just getting in, and I think I got them for like $350. I think it was our Black Friday. It was still not cheap, but a little bit more palatable. Yeah, then just pull the trigger. But remember, it was price that got me there. Even though I have already been informed about the product, I knew about the product.
Mm-hmm.
Price actually got me to buy it.
And did you shop on AI? Did you
No,
use
hell no. I didn't do anything like that.
AIO? Nothing. Yeah.
No, I just did I went on their website, did some research, and I went to
branded
Reddit.
Keywords got you there.
What's that?
So branded keywords are the winner on the last click attribution.
Last click, man. Don't sleep on it. No, it's did some research on Reddit, some positive commentary from users that have used it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go.
Interesting.
Let's get skiing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
very
super
cool.
excited. Yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, yeah,
But
let's get out.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But let's get into the news.
Let's get into news. It's been a freaking busy time of year for the news. Holy smokes.
Yeah, this one kind of dropped on, I just heard about it the other day and it was a little shocking, I would say.
Yeah, I'll kick off. So like Omnicom finalized IPG acquisition with experts calling it the natural outcome of a changing agency model. And off the heels, I think they're looking to let go like 4,000 people, by the way.
Yeah.
That's also a thing. But I think let's talk actually about this, one of the biggest industry stories of the year. You know, Omnicom officially completed the acquisition, $15.5 billion acquisition of the Interpublic Group, creating the largest advertising and marketing holding company in the world. They're really big.
Yeah, I would say.
With more than $25 billion in combined revenue, this move pushes Omnicom past both Publicis and WPP and marks a major reshaping of the agency landscape. Now, Omnicom CEO John Wren is calling this a defining moment, saying the merger creates a more modern, integrated marketing powerhouse built for stronger brand performance and sustainable growth. Wren stays on as CEO, while former IPG chief Felipe Krakowski and longtime Omnicom executive Daryl Sim step into co-presidents and COOs. Now, the combined group expects about $750 million in cost savings, and that comes after significant job cuts. I think I mentioned earlier. Actually, it's 4,000 to 6,000. Actually, is what they're looking at. They're probably cutting. Yeah, it's a reminder that the merger is happening in an industry facing extreme pressure. right? AI adoption, the rise of independence, and clients demanding more flexibility and specialist expertise. And for brands, the big watch out here is client conflicts. The merger, Omnicom, now represents direct competitors like AT&T, T-Mobile, and State Farm and Geico in the US. Now, how they manage those conflicts will be key and a key test of trust at the end of the day. But then you have industry voices like Rebecca McKinley from Oyster Catchers that are saying the same thing. Large holding companies still matter for global brands, but clients increasingly want flexibility, specialist capabilities, and partnerships tailored to their own ways of working. Culture and team stability are becoming just as important on that scale. So this is a historic merger, but the real question is now with this new supersized Omnicom, can they stay agile and deliver what brands actually need in a fast-changing AI-driven era? Okay, keep our eyes on that one.
Yeah, I know it's a weird one. Like, there's so many brands inside of these holding companies. I just saw their DDB is probably going away. And then BBDO, TBWA, McCann, they're all part of this, and they're going to be the 3 agency networks, creative agency networks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you read through all these, like OMD, PhD are in that Omnicom category.
Yeah.
We know some people there. Yeah, it's crazy when you look at how many companies are part of these organizations. Critical Mass is a part of that from
Critical
Calgary.
mass.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know where you go with that, other than like we just want to be big. It's hard for me to wrap my head around what the outcome and the expected, I guess, value is of the merger, other than just to be bigger and manage more.
Well, they compare to
stuff.
WPP, and you've seen how difficult of a year WPP has had. You know, them being one, I think they were the largest company before this merger globally. Like you go after the really big fish, and I don't know, like there's a lot of speculation on what this looks like and
Yeah.
the AI tools behind it. I know WPP is big on their WPP open platform that's like end to end, everything from creative right down to the optimization. I'm sure there's going to be a rebranding of sorts of a lot of the technology that all these agencies had into one big Omnicom
Super computer thing.
super plus agent.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it'll be interesting to see how this evolves. But again, at the end of the day, it's a big story. A lot of people are going to be impacted before the holidays, unfortunately, which is never a good thing. And our industry continues to get hit in the face of consolidation, AI.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious also, like, what the opportunity is for now more independent, senior level kind of boutique firms. It feels to me like there's an opening there for more and more of them.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't think that's going away. I think there's going to be more and more clients that are going to be like, yeah, sure, we can potentially get into into this big ecosystem. But that's not what I need. I'm not a global brand. I'm a national brand, or I'm a local brand, whatever the case may be for everyone. I could see boutiques continue to thrive in a market like this.
Totally. Well,
Nice, okay.
interesting for sure. Yeah, thanks.
What'd you find?
Amazon's $124 billion.
$124.
They have a great Christmas scarf on for 124 bucks. No, $124 billion Christmas bets. I don't know if you've noticed Rufus on Amazon or played around with it very much.
Not really.
It's their AI shopping assistant. So they're spending $124 billion on infrastructure. So about 5 times what Walmart spends, which is a lot. 5 times more than what Walmart spends on infrastructure. A lot of people look at the Rufus like it's retail, and it's not. So this guy from Barron's, who's an article or an online publication, had tested the shopping bot Rufus on Amazon, asked what his wife wants for Christmas. And he got suggestions for things like skin cream and candies and heated massage pillow.
Yeah.
Then he tried Walmart's bot called Sparky, and it recommended things like Rudolph's socks in the soapbox. ChatGPT gave him a recommendation on the seminar on love languages. And so, like, just different kinds of things. I think a lot of these things are built off of what they can recommend. You know what I mean? So you end up with these chatbots or AI agents that are suggesting things that are in their inventory or not. Amazon being the everything store, with their cloud business, they were just growing so much. They grew 20% last quarter on their cloud business. It's the fastest in 3 years. And a big part of that is because AI demand is just so high they can't keep up with it. So all the infrastructure that they're spending, it's really about AWS data centers for enterprise AI.
Mm-hmm.
And then retail ends up becoming a side benefit from all this investment that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of retailers would spend billions to win Christmas. Amazon instead is not that they're not spending billions, but they're also spending billions on AI infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
that the enterprise customers are paying for primarily. And then they're using that leftover capacity to build and improve the flywheel for themselves. So they're just crushing retail. So Rufus has been used by 250 million customers this year, tracking towards 10 billion in sales.
That's insane.
Rufus users are 60% more likely than regular shoppers to make a purchase.
Okay.
Then this came from Aaron's is also like a stock analysis kind of thing. So they look at things like financial metrics and free cash flow. So for this year, Target's free cash flow was 2.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart was 15 billion. Amazon is 21 billion. So their free cash flow is much higher than a lot of the competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And that 21 billion for Amazon is after spending the 124 billion. In 3 years, the analysts were predicting Amazon's free cash flow could hit anywhere between 55 to 157 billion. It's just ridiculous.
These numbers are insane.
They're so large, it's impossible. Like that's not even revenue. It's crazy. And so it's really about infrastructure at scale. And so, everyone's looking at the Amazon holiday or the holiday battle in general, and this guy's suggesting Amazon's already won. They're just deciding how much of it to invest in winning more.
Oh my goodness.
The big keep getting bigger.
Yeah. I mean, they can.
When they're well managed.
Yeah. And Amazon has been for years. Obviously really well managed, and you can see the growth in it. Actually, there was going to be one question, but we're going to get to my third story that talks about the winners and losers of Black Friday of 2025, and some interesting findings in there that actually track to what you were highlighting here in terms of, how well Amazon is doing. But
well, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get into it. So, so I found this on Retail Dive. So Black Friday 2025 is behind us now. Obviously, Cyber Monday just earlier this week. And just showed just how much holiday shopping has changed. The frenzy we remember, it's no longer the same. It's now a multi-day sales experience.
I was just explaining that to my kids. Do you remember when we were growing up, there was videos of people on the news getting crushed because they were trying to get in to buy a TV at whatever, Best Buy or whatever it was. And that doesn't happen anymore. It's spread out.
No, because the sales period is no longer just one day.
Yeah.
People retailers still have Black Friday sales on today.
Like weeks before. Yeah. And even weeks before too. Like it's almost an entire month-long sale.
Exactly. So now, because it is a multi-day sales period and shoppers are a lot more cautious, a lot are pointing to inflation, lower government support, and similar discounts across retailers have dampened urgency. I think everyone in the back of their mind is like, yeah, I'll shop around Black Friday, right? But it's not like on the day of, I'm setting my alarm because there's door crashers that I know are going to hit, and I need to get some of those exclusive deals. People pass on that, I think, a little easier than before. So the winners this year, AI traffic, AI-driven tools jumped 805%, with shoppers 38% more likely to buy. So this ties back to your Rufus kind of commentary. Salesforce says AI agents alone drove $3 billion in online sales. Retailers offering exclusive in-store perks also stood out. Target gave tote bags with giveaways. Lowe's offered buckets of products and a chance to win $2,000 worth in appliances. Simple incentives drew the crowds. The losers was online order volume dipped 1%. You could almost call that flat, but let's just say it dipped 1%, and the average prices rose 7%. Discounts were flat compared to 2024. Shoppers didn't see big savings. Buy now, pay later usage climbed nearly 9%, which boosted spending, but may create headaches for consumers in 2026. Store traffic was mixed across the board. And this is US based, by the way, for anyone that's listening, with department stores up slightly and beauty and specialty categories lagging. key takeaway here was AI is winning, just like you highlighted in your Amazon story. Consumers are feeling squeezed, and retailers need more than just discounts to grab attention. Black Friday isn't dead. It's just smarter, slower, and more selective.
Yeah, it's really interesting. As you're reading up those stats, I couldn't help but think, if everything's flat overall online, is AI incremental or is it just stealing attribution?
Oh, it's the latter, in my opinion. I don't think it's
Yes.
adding incremental. It's just it's a shopping behavior that's shifting. I think consumers are doing even more research than ever before now.
Yeah, and using AI to do it. Yeah. But it's so interesting because there's a story there for sure that people are adopting using AI,
Mhm.
which is true. But
Yeah.
then is it actually driving more sales? Maybe yes, maybe no, who knows? But it's not clear to me what the benefit is. I think there's a huge underlying story around the economics right now, consumer index, spending index, and general sentiment around consumer willingness to pay for things. That's a really good point. I thought about the buy now, pay later usage climbed 9%, which might end up causing a lot of headaches for people later. Like they're just deferring
Yeah.
the pain,
Yeah.
which I get it totally. I've been doing more of that for sure, or at least
Yeah.
considering doing more of that.
Yeah. If you don't have to pay interest or anything like that, why pay all of it up front? You don't need to.
Yeah.
And a lot of the retailer websites have those options now baked in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Klarna.
Klarna is a good,
Is part of your checkout process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Super interesting.
All right. Final story.
Okay. Well, Adidas ditches surveys for search data. I saw this on Work. Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool story.
Such a cool story.
Yeah. So apparently, Adidas has stopped using traditional brand tracking surveys. Things like Net Promoter Score, brand health studies, all of it is gone, and they're replacing it with share of search. I definitely know I've talked to. I can't remember if it was on this podcast or his back historical life with James Hankins, who was one of the people that invented share of search. I think it was on the old podcast. Anyway, Organics Google search data across 38 countries is how they're using it. They cut tracking costs by 60% and generated 8-figure value. So they've asked really one question: could consumer search behavior predict brand strength and sales better than surveys? And they tested it for 6 months, and the answer ended up being yes, which is what prompted them to make the switch. They were able to prove that search volume and share of search showed really strong correlations with actual sales and market share across the different regions and product categories. So they scaled this to now monitor over 100 brands, 750 franchises, and 200 partners. They analyzed 1.3 million keywords in 20 languages across 6 search layers in 7 sport categories. And so it wasn't just about them doing this. They also had to build capability within their organization. And then, the required supporting systems to be able to do it. So they invested in automation for data gathering and reporting. For anybody interested, James Hankins and Les Binet both have published a lot around this, and that you can find out exactly how they've done it. They reduced manual work by 30%, kept the insights arriving fast enough to be able to drive decisions. Then they brought their teams along, internal roadshows, localized onboarding, Q&A sessions to explain what share of search measures are and how to use it. Their director of global brand strategy said it's important to go through every step, to do your homework, and to bring your teams and skill sets together. They wrote a research paper, and one of the things they talked about there is to remain relevant, our insights architecture must be as dynamic as the consumers and technologies we seek to understand, which means fusing automation with adaptive learning mindset. James Hankins, who I talked about earlier, had called share of search the most important marketing metric you'd never heard of. And as I mentioned, he's documented tons of stuff around how to use that. Same thing with Les Binet. And Adidas, when they opened their session to their team, said, used one of Les Binet's quotes, which was that over the last 30 years, I've found the relationship between tracking metrics and actual purchase behavior is surprisingly weak. And so Adidas proved that search data is a little bit different. Which I think is really interesting, that when you're looking for financial implications and correlations between business outcomes, share search might actually be the better predictor to get lower costs, especially if you have a team that knows how to use it. The one caveat I would put into this story is that I have tried this a bunch of times with clients, and you need to have a brand big enough that it has a footprint that's recognizable by the search data.
Ding, ding, ding.
So that's like for local city municipal level kind of search volumes, you may not be able to find anything, but for larger brands like Adidas, it definitely is interesting.
I love everything about this.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. When you think about it again, and I think this stays malleable anyways, even in a world of AI, like the organic side will still be a key differentiator of success. And using that as your pulse, if you will, I think is a no-brainer. And the fact that now the stories become, oh, look what Adidas did. And I think you and I have been talking, we've had James Hankins on, we've talked to him about it. I know I've written about it. It's not that this is new. It's just that it hasn't been widely adopted, because I think people initially, your knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, it's just on the search side. Is it paid? It's just investment based. I think there's just a lot of, until people spend time with the literature and understand exactly how to set this up, you can do your competitive analysis based on this better than any survey that goes out there, just based on the demand that's in the market for your competitors.
Totally.
You can throw them into quartiles. Like, there's so much that you can do with this that I think for me is, especially if you're a larger brand, at minimum, you probably need national scale. If I'm thinking about Canada here as well, but it's great. And I love that it's becoming more of a topic, and maybe we should bring them back, bring James back to talk about it and as a refresher.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I think there's an opportunity also with AI. Like it's not going to be the same unless maybe you use Gemini and they can pull it. But there's more and more of that kind of research that you can do on your own. I think one of the things that's a really awesome takeaway from the Adidas story is that they tested it for 6 months before they made a bigger decision. But I think that's a really important thing, for really good practice for anybody. Just test things for a while before you actually make a giant commitment to it.
You can do this without, like, you can set this up without needing approvals from everyone in the organization.
Yeah, you can just start downloading the data within Google.
Just start small.
Anybody could do it.
Start small, start in the shadows, start building some consistency with it, start seeing the trends that it comes up, and then you take it on a roadshow. Say, hey, for the last 6 months, by the way, we've been doing this. Here's what we've noticed. Here's what we've noticed. Anyways, it's really good. I love it.
Okay, you've got an interesting marketing moment, V. What do you got?
It's the marketing moment. Okay, always got to have a jingle. This is something we haven't really talked about. And I frequent on YouTube the Harvard Business Review, and had a really, really interesting conversation with Arthur C. Brooks. He's a Parker Gilbert Montgomery professor of the practice of public leadership at the Harvard Kennedy School and professor of management practice at the Harvard Business School. So where he teaches courses on leadership, happiness, and nonprofit management. He's also a columnist for The Atlantic, where he writes weekly How to Build a Life column. Brooks is also author of 12 books, including the 2022 #1 New York Times bestseller, From Strength to Strength. He's written, the book is called From Strength to Strength, Finding Success, Happiness, and Deep Purpose in the Second Half of Life. So I'd argue he knows a few things or two about this topic. So this marketing mode isn't really deep-rooted in any sort of channels, AI or brand building. It's something upstream from all of it. It's the leader behind, every decision. And I thought this was very timely for me as we're kind of approaching performance reviews, especially across organizations right now, that we need to be more reflective as leaders on the job that we do and how we show up from a day-to-day perspective. Because Brooks argues that happiness isn't the finish line, it's a direction, right? So you can't be happy, but you can be happier if you treat it like a skill, not just simply a mood. And the happiest people, he talks about, have 4 daily habits. And this is all rooted on the leadership side. The first one is being like faith or philosophy, a grounding practice that makes you feel part of something bigger. Spirituality for some, nature, meditation, music, philosophy. And it's not religion by default, but it's the notion or the feeling of transcendence that is important. So he highlights that as being something for being a great leader. Is you need to have one of those. You need to have that somehow as a part of your I don't know, day to day, if you will. The second one is, it's a no-brainer, but it's family. Invest time and attention in the people who will outlast your job title. And when you put it that way, we were just talking about before we started recording today, it's like we're always planning the what's next. And sometimes we forget about just enjoy this journey that we're on right now. And investing time in family, that will likely will go a long way and helps ground you and things to that effect. I think that's a great tip. The third one, he had friendships, and he's talking about real friends, not deal friends. The higher you climb and the fewer real ones you naturally keep. And Brooks argues this is the start of the kind of emotional undernourishment. So you need to make sure that, you have your ecosystem that's there, your friends that are there that are closest to you. Make sure you're spending time with them, because it helps, again, one of those things, in feeling a part of something that's larger than your job is. Because sometimes it becomes very easy, because we spend so much time in our jobs, to lose sight of what actually matters. Do work that serves. Don't chase status, praise, or admiration, but ground your work in contribution, purpose, and earned success. And I think this is another really important one, where we're thinking about earned success. You think about naturally things like around community. So if you and I can build something incredible, which we are with the Sleeping Barber, and that continues, it grows, there's a different sense of earned success in something that you're building. So I think about this a lot more now than I have, but it's easy to chase a title. It's easy to chase the money. But again, just ground your work and contribution, I think, is really an interesting way to think about it. And then he also talks about some really hard truths for high achievers. And I think, I would argue you and I are probably in that category, where we will continue to go above and beyond. Money, status, and recognitions, those things that we chase, don't make us happier. They're evolutionary impulses, not emotional nutrients. And when you kind of take that back, I'm like, yeah, I mean, we want more, we want bigger responsibilities, we want those titles. But what is it if it's going to take me away from my family? Is that a trade-off that I'm willing to make? I don't know, right? Let me see here. So what does create a more meaningful life is building the habits that strengthen enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning, and then the macronutrients of happiness, as he calls them. And here's a line that really stuck with me. So if your aim is only for success, you'll never be happy. If you aim for happiness, you'll still have enough success. That's the leadership equivalent of long-term brand building. Get the foundation right, and performance follows. Brooks also warns that the negative emotions are contagious. Unhappy leaders create unhappy teams. And in a world of constant news, constant comparison, and constant meetings, hear just that we're flooding our brains with things we can't control. They're burning the energy we need for the things we can. So what can we do? What can leaders do today? Is limit news and political content to 30 minutes a day in one block. Not because disengagement is virtuous, it's because constant exposure to things you can't influence destroys emotional stability. And number 2 is replace doom scrolling with something you can influence. Call a friend, text a sibling, spend 10 minutes with your kids, support someone at work, or help your community. Local action restores agency. Number 3 is audit your meetings. Cancel unnecessary ones. Cap the rest at 30 minutes. Nothing improves a team well-being faster than freeing people from low-value time sinks. Number 4 is build one ritual that connects you to something bigger. A walk before a sunrise. A page of philosophy. 10 minutes of breathe work. Or listening to music without a device in front of you. Anything that can shrink your ego and expand your perspective. And these are small, tiny interventions. And many may be hearing this right now, be like, oh, okay, this is not as profound as one would expect. But I think that's where the beauty lies in it, that it's not meant to be profound. It's just highlighting things that you can do today, if you choose to put you in a better mental state. And by consequence, a better leader for your teams.
Yeah. It's a good call out. I think it's a really interesting point, especially for people in marketing and a lot of the people that we talk to or talk with and that listen are in leadership positions. It's definitely an area of interest for probably all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's nice to kind of think about some of these things, and, yes, in the marketing landscape, but just in general, like we're all at work working with people and leading people. It's good to reflect on that. The audit your meetings one is a huge unlock for me recently. Like I kind of declared counter bankruptcy and just canceled all meetings for a week. And then in that week, I rebuilt my calendar so that and it's easy for me to do this because I'm, easier maybe for me to do this because I'm not working inside of an organization, but I blocked open booking time. So I allowed people to book meeting time with me only in certain times. And if they want to meet, that's great. And here's the 30-minute calendar link. You can book it yourself. But the rest of the time I blocked off to do specific things that are just repetitive tasks that I know I have to do. And that was the part that I always felt overwhelmed by because I was constantly a victim of my own calendar.
Yes.
And never felt like I was in control of my own life at work because of that. And so now I feel way more confident, way more in control, way less anxiety and all those things because I know I have time to get stuff done that I need to get done, and I have time to meet with people.
Yeah.
So it's there's some really good points in there for sure.
No, I'm with you on that. The, prisoners of our own calendar. I love that. I think that could be an article. But it's one of those things where you go into these motions day in and day out, and so yeah, you can find some time in my calendar, book, just throw something in, it's there. But if you haven't blocked stuff out so you can actually do the tasks that you have to do, then you're at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I need to spend another hour or two just getting the stuff done. Because we talk about scope creep, there's calendar creep.
Totally.
Oh, hey, I just need 5 minutes. That 5 minutes turned into 30 minutes. And it's a thing. And in these larger corporate settings, it becomes even harder to manage, but you have to try to find ways to create space. And I'm going to be doing something similar in terms of restructuring my calendar. Things that I can control are like, the one-to-ones that I have with my team. Well, I'm lucky that I have team members in out east and out west. So based just on geography, I'm going to prioritize those that are out east early in the mornings and those that are out west later in the afternoon. Sure, it makes for longer days for me, but then I'm not constantly trying to shift and move these things in and out. So anyways, that's one thing. I think from a leadership perspective, there's a lot of things that we can look at. I really like replace that doom scrolling, like calling a friend. It's not something that you have 10 minutes, you're 30 minutes into a doom scroll. It could have been a very casual conversation with one of your buddies.
Totally.
And why don't we?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's a good call. I love that, V.
Okay, time for Ad of the Week. It's the season.
Yeah, so this, I pulled out, this is an old ad from, I think it was 2015. But John Lewis, they had this ad from 2015 called Man on the Moon. Somebody sent it to me and it was like, this is everything about marketing. And I'm like, this is a really cool ad. So I started doing some research about it to try and understand it. And there's a lot of context here that I think is different for us in North America than it is in the UK. In North America, we obsess over Super Bowl ads. And in the UK, they obsess over Christmas ads. Same kind of like scale. I mean, maybe not scale, but the same passion and intensity around Christmas ads that we have for Super Bowl ads. In the UK, it's about Christmas ads. And so John Lewis is an upscale department store chain that's been around since 1864. Since 2007, their Christmas ads have become somewhat of a cultural phenomenon. The launch gets news coverage, trends on social media. It's been called an arms race between UK retailers. And then this Man on the Moon ad from 2015 cost £7 million to produce.
That's insane.
It was set to a cover of Oasis's song Half the World Away by a 19-year-old Norwegian singer named Aurora. And that's relevant. I'll talk about that later. But the storyline is there's this girl named Lily that looks through a telescope and discovers an old man living alone on the moon. And she watches him go about his routine. He's all alone. And she becomes determined to send him a gift. And the balloon delivers a telescope to the man on the moon for Christmas. And he uses it to look back at Earth. And then they see each other and then they're waving. And it's really cool. The song, though, is really from Aurora is like so perfect for this. Like music makes such a memorable moment in this cameo in this. The Aurora, it became a cover hit. Her song or her cover version became a cover hit. And that's a common thing with a lot of these Christmas ads. The music selection matters as much as the creative, kind of like our Super Bowl halftime shows. Where artists, at Super Bowl halftime see massive spikes in streams and downloads and record sales and things. It's a similar kind of thing with music artists in these John Lewis commercials. And so partly why it matters is there's a connection between someone outside of their immediate circle. For the John Lewis character, they partnered with Adage UK in this commercial with an insight that there's about 1 million older people in the UK that go a month without speaking to anyone. So there's like this tie-in or an insight to people being lonely. They created in their pop-ups, moon-style pop-ups in 11 stores, and they created an augmented reality app, educational materials. So it wasn't just about it being a commercial, it was a platform based on a cause they thought was really important around loneliness and bringing people together at Christmas time. The old man in it never really speaks, actually doesn't speak at all, and neither does the main character, Lily. It's all told through just the song. So there's no voiceover, no dialogue. It's a girl noticing someone and doing something about it. And they got about 20 million views.
That's insane.
Yeah. The Christmas advertising itself, I think the interesting lesson here is that it's really not about the product per se, because it wasn't a huge feature moment. It was more about the emotional territory that they're owning at this point in time. It's really about what giving does. It's the idea about connection and recognition and someone knowing that you exist. And so I think it's a really interesting story. It's like a really great commercial to begin with. It's about 2 minutes. But it's just a really interesting way to tell stories and connect with people. We always hear about connecting an emotion, and it's a really, really great. It does a great job at that.
Absolutely.
They won the whole season with this commercial, and they've been doing this kind of thing for almost 20 years. So I think it's just such an interesting approach for them, and something that definitely a lot of retailers here could probably learn from, and companies, not just retailers, but B2B, B2C can learn from.
I would almost rather that we had more of like a Christmas tradition here from an advertising perspective.
Yeah.
I just think it brings the season into full swing with it. It really primes the consumers. It really primes us as people. Like, it's the season of giving, and it reminds us of the things that are kind of important. You can do that, by still driving mental availability for your products and things like that. It almost feels less commercial, whereas like Super Bowl ads are a little bit different. The intent behind them is a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we worked in retail together, and I remember thinking, like, why do we do the big game stuff? Like, it's not in cycle with the business objectives, which is kind of a funny thing. But but still, there's lots of really interesting things to learn from this.
And okay, wrap us up.
What do we got
here.
coming up next week?
Ty Heath from the B2B Institute on the new research that shows why physical availability is B2B's biggest growth opportunity.
Yeah, Ty was great. That was a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, it was great.
And V, that brings us to the end of our Barber's Brief.
Do we have one more of these before the year?
I think so. I think there's one more before the end of the year.
We'll make it a banger.
Oh, it'll be a humdinger for sure. All right. And with that, V, we'll sign off, but thanks for keeping us in your ears.
Of course. Okay, stay sharp, everybody.
All right.
That's
Ciao.
it. Ciao.